So we are tracking, or not tracking as the case may be, motor yacht Amadea. It's been 3 days and 16 hours since Amadea switched off at AIS just after leaving San Diego. Now the yacht was sold by the US government after a successful forfeiture case, and it was bought by Abbas Hussein Sajwani, somebody who has been in the news recently. The sale went ahead despite the losing side of that court case filing an appeal pretty much straight away afterwards. Now, we're talking about the person who claimed to own the vessel, Edward Kutenetov. The government proved that Suleiman Karimov had purchased the vessel from Kutenetov, but he claimed that he still owned it. His lawyers said they were going to put in an appeal, which they did. They also sort of put out a threat there that they said that once this vessel sails out of the US into another territory, they will try to have that vessel arrested. So hence the vessel has left now. It's gone dark. It's not broadcasting any AIS. Where did the yacht go? So of course the yacht could have gone anywhere. We don't really know. We can just guess where the vessel would go. So there are a couple of things that we've thought about. One is that it's going to a shipyard somewhere. It's been laid up for a long time. Now, it did have some work done by the US, paid for by the US government earlier this year in a shipyard in the north, up near Seattle. I don't know what kind of work was done. It would have been the minimum done, I would have guessed, to keep the vessel in class. So it probably does need a refit period. But unless that's being done in the US somewhere, friendly country, if it was to sail out of the US, see, normally a vessel like that would go to Germany. The owner of a yacht like that, he would want to have it repaired by Lursen or by a European shipyard somewhere. But that's out of the question, all things considered, right? Because of what will most likely happen should that vessel arrive in Germany or somewhere over in Europe, that they would try to get it arrested straight away. So it's either gone to a shipyard somewhere or it's going to the UAE where the owner is from, right? Now, to get to the UAE from San Diego, there are two options really. One of them is to go via Singapore through the Malacca Straits and across into the Indian Ocean and up to Abu Dhabi. That's about 11,500 nautical miles. Now, as impressive as a yacht is, as Amadea is, and it is a very impressive yacht, it's got a range of about 8,000 nautical miles. So obviously it would need to refuel at some point. Now, like I said, if they go that way, they have to go through Malacca Straits where they have to broadcast AIS. They can't go through there with AIS turned off. Now, the other option is to go the other way, right? Go through the Atlantic, but they have to go through Panama Canal, and the same thing applies there. Panama Canal, you cannot sail through Panama Canal with your AIS switched off. Also, to go through Panama Canal, you have to wait. You have to go to an anchorage on the Pacific side and you wait there, and you can wait for a few days to get your slot. It's so busy and so congested. So they'd be a sitting duck really. So yeah, I don't. It's possible that they can go either one of those ways. Like I said, either way they go, they've got to switch on the AIS at some point. Now they can obviously plot a course around those areas, but it's much further. That's why they're so popular, these areas, as you can see in this footage here from marine traffic. Now, if they were to go through Panama, it's 2,887 nautical miles from San Diego to Panama. They could refuel in Panama, and then they've got another 9,400 nautical miles from there to United Arab Emirates, so they would have to refuel again. Now, the other choice could be they could sail to Hawaii. So they're going Pacific way, stop at Hawaii, refuel there. Now they're reset, but they still won't make it without refueling. They wouldn't make it from Hawaii to UAE. It's still over 8,000 nautical miles. So those are their options really. I mean, like I said, they can go round, but it's much further to go. So some of the questions that came up in the comments, why can't they bunker and provision at sea in international waters? Well, they can do that. I mean, there's nothing to stop them doing that. It would be very expensive to do, but it can be done. It's very unusual for yachts to do that, but it's not impossible. Someone said, couldn't they take a couple of jerry cans in case she runs out of fuel along the way? I mean, like I said, one of our contacts in San Diego said that there were fuel trucks going to Amadea all week, so she was loading up for a big trip. You know, I mean, such a big vessel. Even if they wanted to half fill that thing, it would probably take 4 or 5 trucks. So, you know, people see multiple trucks going to a vessel to refuel. They think, wow, it's unusual, but it's not unusual for a yacht of that size to have multiple fuel trucks. It's not that unusual. But if they've been going all week, it sounds like they're filling up to you know, take on maximum fuel. And also someone said, can Amadea change the name, flag, and AIS and give it a new look and effectively hide it? Not legally, because I mean they can change those things. They can change the name and the flag, and that will reflect on AIS, right? But every vessel is when it's registered, it's given an IMO number, International Maritime Organization number, and that number never changes. So if you go to marine traffic and you search for the IMO number of Amadea, which is 1012531, it will find it regardless of the name, right? So the only way they could do that would be illegally, right? So they register it with a different IMO number. They basically broadcast a new AIS date, name and flag and IMO number, but it would be illegal. That is entirely a possibility. They change it, broadcast a different one, and then for the sake of going through those areas, Panama and Malacca Straits and stuff, they are broadcasting something, and unless there was some specific information that came through to those local places, they'd have no reason to suspect that those numbers were incorrect, right? Unless they really did a check, if they were really on it and they said, hang on a minute, that's the wrong IMO number. But, you know, how good they are at detecting that on the amount of vessels that go through those areas, I don't know. But that's probably the most likely scenario is of what they do. So yeah, so it's an interesting one, isn't it? We'll see what happens once that vessel gets anywhere near land. I'm sure somebody who watches the channel will see it and will communicate that with us. But yeah, if it's going across the Pacific, that's not going to be for some time, right? It could, if you're in Hawaii, I'll keep an eye out. Obviously, we've got all kinds of trackers and alerts on it to, you know, to tell us if the vessel turns up anywhere. So we'll bring that to you if we have. Like I said, those trackers only work if they're broadcasting the correct information. Hi, thanks very much for watching this video. If you want to see the full news videos, click on the link over here. And if you'd like to find the channels, you can find the links below here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.